Hello. So that I don't have an awkward weirdness when the video is recorded and sent to IGTV. Hello. I'm gonna act cool while everybody joins. Hi, how are you guys doing? Welcome to today's IG Live. I'm gonna give everybody a couple of minutes to join. And I'll just chit chat until then. So here in Philly, it is full on summer mode. It has been hot and humid, and my face situation is just sticky. But I'm from Florida, and it has been really nice to have some heat and humidity the past couple days. I love it, except for the face and makeup situation and the hair. I feel like if I do anything to my hair, it just it's worthless. So it just goes up in a bun every day. My little headband. But for today's IG Live, I'm going to be going over some pattern alterations for the Maris Bralette. It has been, I think it's been a little over 3 weeks since the Maris Bralette and panty came out, and I have been blown away by how well it has been received. There is a Facebook group which has more postings than the hashtag here on Instagram. I think it's a little bit of a safer place for people to post their me-made Marises in progress, muslins as well. And I have just been so impressed by everybody who has made it. And the comments they're giving, the suggestions that they're giving each other, their fabric choices. Some people are sewing it with the kids, some people are sewing it up with their stash. And we also there was a sewing get together, a social distancing last Saturday where 7 local sewers came in and sewed it. And sizes ranged from straight up medium to an extra small EF cup to a 4XL EF cup, which is the largest size, which is an I cup and ready to wear. And it was awesome. It was so great to see them sew it and then to try it on after when they finished, and everybody's face just lit up. So it was awesome. But in the Facebook group, as well as on Instagram, through email, I have received some questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? Because one size doesn't fit all. So even if you make the mirrors, you might want to do a little tweaking on your second and on your third try. And a couple of the questions, comments, suggestions have involved pattern alterations. And I feel like sewists, when it comes to pattern alterations, they're like, no. It gives them the heebie-jeebies, so they don't know where to start. It is just, they think it's way beyond them. Pattern alterations are super easy. It's a couple of fundamental rules that you just apply over and over. So I'm gonna go over 3 common, I have 6 here, but 3 common pattern alterations for the Maris. All of these have come up, questions, comments, suggestions, and the 3, let me bring this a little bit closer. So the design of the Maris is that the straps are a little bit wider set. This kind of, increases the deep V. That's the design of the Maris. But let's just say that you want to make the straps a little bit closer. I'm going to show you 2 ways. And I'm going to do like a look down with the camera, but I want you to keep this in mind. So the first way that I'm going to show you is going to change the angle. And that it's going to, if you see this cup right here, just think about this when I do the pattern alteration, and it's going to shift the angle of the strap. The second pattern alteration that I'm going to do is actually going to shift it. So in one, I'm changing the angle, and in the other one, I'm actually shifting it over. It'll all make sense when I do the pattern alteration. The other alteration I'm going to do is the vertical seam, which you can barely see up. Black is always hard to photograph and to film, but let me bring it up here. Can we see that here? Yeah, we can see that. So there is a vertical seam here. And what I love about the Maris is that it has a 3-part cup. So I did an Instagram story on this about the inspiration. So what this does, having this 3-part cup, is that it gives you the ability to increase the height and increase the volume if you need to. So with just a vertical seam or horizontal seam, you can only add so much volume. Put it this way, the more seams that you have, the more volume that you can accommodate. So this seam should be over your apex. If it's not, again, this is a little bit wider set, so it could be outside your apex. So if you make a mirror, just take a peek in and be like, oh, that's hitting my apex. Which apex? Nipple. So if it's not hitting your apex and you need to shift it in, or maybe you need to shift it out, I'm gonna go over that as well. And the last pattern alteration I'm gonna do is how to mirror the cup curve on the mirrors to match the Barrett bralette. Now, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if you have sewn the Barrett, it's your tried and true, you love it, and you want to try the mirrors. The Barrett was, or the mirrors was based on the Barrett, but there were a couple little things that we did to change it. So even though that it's based on, the mirrors is based on the Barrett, the cup curves are slightly different. So if you want to mirror the cup curve so that they are the same, I'm gonna go over that. Now, something to keep note of that is that really only applies if you're an AB cup. Because again, bralettes are great, but bralettes without cup sizes are usually based on a B cup. So if you are an E cup, an F cup, a G cup, an I cup, you want to keep that curve. It's going to be more than your Barrett bralette because it's accommodating more volume. So this really only applies to AB cups. So are we ready to get started on the pattern alterations and for you to just see how easy peasy it is? I mean, seriously, you're gonna be like, why was I so hesitant to do that? I'm going to scroll up through the comments and see if anything came up. No. Somebody just said hi, but I just want to make sure that no comments came up. Okay, so let me change the angle of the camera. I'm going to switch it here. And then let me bring this over here. Okay, so I have the, I'm gonna get the camera situated without dropping anything. It's always the key. Oh, yep. Okay, there we go. We're all locked in. Okay, so I have 2 upper cups here, different sizes, but still the pattern alterations are going to be the same. And remember I told you that for one, we are going to shift it over the angle, and the other one, or for the first one, we are going to change the angle, and then for the other one, we're actually going to shift it. So let's start with the angle first. So really easy is that you are going to, here's your pattern, you're gonna need a ruler, you need a pen. This is O tag, and what you're gonna do is you are gonna draw a line, a straight line, and it can really be anywhere. Anywhere along the cross cup seam and along the neckline. And what you're gonna be like, wow, this is so easy. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take your paper scissors and you're gonna cut all the way through that line. Okay, 2 pieces. And then you are going to overlap them. So here's and you'll see how it shifts over. So here's my original. And then if you shift it over so that it overlaps, you see how I just shifted the angle? So here we go. And then I just shifted the angle, just like that. Now, this point right here is the original. So these 2 points I'm matching up, that won't change. But then I'm overlapping the patterns right here. And I'll give you a little, so if I fold this back, you will see that it overlaps. and that by overlapping them, I have shifted the angle of the upper cup. Now you're probably asking, how much should I overlap? That is going to depend on how the mirrors is fitting. If you haven't made a mirrors and you're making this change, or you don't know where or how much to do, I would start with like a 1/2 inch and then increase it. If you need to do another 1/2 inch, you can do it by that, but you don't want to go all the way in here. You really just want to do a little bit. So I would say start off with 3/8 of an inch, 1/2 inch. And then when you're finished, when you've overlapped them, what you will do is you will true up. You are going to trace around the pattern. And by truing up, it means that you see there is a little gap right here. So by truing up, we're just making this a continuous line so that you don't have this little cutout after overlapping the patterns. And then truing it up along this line, you can see that there's like a little kind of point here when we pivoted the pattern. So we're just gonna make that straight again. And the best way to do this is just with a ruler. And again, this is called truing up. So I'm gonna take that away. And this will become your new pattern that's been shifted. So then I'll take my rulers and I will make this a solid line, and then I will put on my pattern markings on there, direction of greatest stretch, upper cup, yada, yada, yada. So that's the first way. Again, we are shifting the angle, or we're changing the angle. The next way, let me shift this a little bit over here so it doesn't get confusing. Yeah. Okay. So the next way is that we are shifting. So in this method, what you will do is you will draw a line somewhere along the underarm and somewhere along the neckline. It can be here, it can be here, it can be here. There's no, it has to be 1 inch from the under or from the. Sorry guys, it just went blank for a second. So I'm back though. Okay. Bring this back up. Alrighty, back in action. All right, so I'm gonna cut along this line right here. And I'm going to shift. So I say start with like a 1/2 inch. And then you are going to true this up. So I'm gonna start this right here, do this line right here, strap point, strap point. Then I'm gonna blend this line, and I like to use I like to eyeball this and then use like a curved ruler or a straight ruler. Because if I use a curved ruler, what I end up doing is drawing like way too many lines and then I get confused. This stays the same. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm, again, going to eyeball this new curve. And that's the way I shifted it. I shifted the strap point over. Again, I'll use probably a curved ruler to true all this up and make it pretty, but for the fact of this tutorial, this is like a quick and dirty way to do it. Okay, so I've shown you how to either change the angle of the strap point or to shift the strap point over. So let's go to the next pattern alteration, which is shifting the vertical seam. So this is going to use a method called slashing and opening or slashing and closing. And this is super easy. What you're going to do is you're going to draw 2 vertical lines on the lower side cup and then the lower center front cup. And you want to make sure that, I do the wrong line, of course. You want to make sure that it goes along the cross cup seam to the bottom, cross cup seam to the bottom. And then you are going to, so if you are shifting the vertical seam towards center front, you are going to slash and spread this open. You're going to cut along this line. And then you are going to slash and close this same amount. So if you slash and open this about 3/8 of an inch, then you got to slash and close this about 3/8 of an inch. And the reason why I do it this way is because then you maintain everything, you maintain all the curves. So what this does is this just shifts the seam over. And the same method that I used to true up the upper cup in the previous examples, I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to just trace around here, around the new pattern pieces. Not the cleanest lines, but it's just for tutorial's sake. And then for this one, I'm having it overlap. Now there's going to be like a little cutout right here. So I want to kind of blend those 2 lines. So what I'll do here is I'll probably take ta-da! So I've shifted it over. And again, if you wanted to shift it towards the other way, you would slash and spread this, and then you would slash and close this. So if you slash and close one, you got to slash and spread open the other. And then the last pattern alteration, switch this around, is going to be how do you mirror your cup curve on your Barrett to your cup curve on your Maris. So you'll see there's not much to change, but there is a little bit. Now this is a Barrett pattern that I've drawn on a cardstock to make it easier to see. And if you line up the bottom point along the vertical seams, you'll see that there's just a hair that needs to come off the Maris. So the Maris has slightly more volume than the Barrett. So all you do is just use your Barrett as a template, draw the new curves, and that's it. And then you'll just cut off this little bit, and then the curve on your Barrett will match the curve on your Maris. Again, you want to remember that this is really only good for AB cups. If you are a CD cup or an EF cup, you really need that extra curve. You shouldn't be mirroring this off of your Barrett bralette. And then with all of your pattern alterations, you always want to make sure that your seam lines match and that all your pattern pieces will match up after you've made your pattern alterations. So that's it. Did that seem easy? Let me switch the camera here. Hi, I'm back. So did that seem easy? Let's see if I have any questions here. Cool. Yeah, so pattern alterations aren't very hard. I just feel like people get so, oh, pattern alterations, nope, not even gonna touch it. I don't even wanna go near there. But they are pretty easy, and those were the most common pattern alterations that I've gotten questions for, especially the ones about shifting the strap points, because I know that especially for fuller bust and plus size, the deep V, they just want like a little bit more. They just feel a little open here, which some people love. Some people are like, I just feel a little open. I want it to be just a little bit closer. And that pattern alteration isn't hard. It's just either changing the angle or actually shifting in the strap points. So that's it. That's it for today's IG Live. I'm gonna post this to the IGTV. I'm also going to repost this to YouTube and the Facebook group. I will say that if you haven't made a Maris, or you're about to make a Maris, or you're thinking of making a Maris, definitely join the Facebook group to kind of see what everybody else is making, their pattern alterations, their suggestions, their fabric choices, and stuff like that. For the next coming weeks, just to give you a little teaser, I definitely want to do a IG Live tutorial on how to add foam cups to the Maris. Also doing a Maris for swimsuits. So those are in the queue. They are coming. So just give me some time. And I think that's it for today. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you at the next IG Live. Oh, one more thing before I go, is that there is a virtual workshop Thursday on how to grade a bralette. So that might be really helpful, because I think that, understanding how a bralette grades or a bra grades makes you a better pattern maker, makes you a better sewist. So that is on Thursday. The last day to sign up is tomorrow. So I know there are going to be some stragglers who are going to email me the night before saying, where's the link, I want to join. Please sign up tomorrow. So I will see you next time.